Thank you for welcoming us into your headphones. I am Chema,
And I'm Eddie.
reviewing Dash and Lily. This is the rollback. What's up, dude? Tis the season.
It's still November, bitch. It's still November.
Tis the season, dude. Have I told you that I fucking love Christmas?
You've made it clear a few times.
I fucking love Christmas. I just love the last long stretch of the year. You know,
The disrespect for Thanksgiving, sir.
No. Listen, the last couple months of the year are the best because we get Halloween, we get Thanksgiving, we get my fucking birthday, we get your fucking birthday, we get a Halloween, and this year we managed to add another great celebration, which is we're kicking out that fucker out of the White House. So I think this has been, I think regardless of how terrible the year has been, we're starting to pick up the pieces and start making it something better. So I think that's enough to be excited.
That's fair.
And just like we got excited for Halloween with that Adam Sandler movie, Hubie Halloween, I think it's important that we get hyped by getting slapped in the face by the most wonderful time of the year. And I certainly did by watching the new Netflix original show, Dash and Lily.
Funny enough, when you had put down that, hey, I'm going to do a review on this, I had legit the same day I got home, I walked inside, and Nikki was watching it. She had just finished, the first episode. She was maybe halfway through the second episode. And I was like, yeah, Chema kind of wants to watch it. You want to see it again? And she's like, yeah, it's so cute. Then we started watching it, and I actually got really invested and hooked in the show. Shocking, I was like, it's gonna be like a glorified Hallmark thing, but whatever.
Not at all.
Yeah, no, I'm pleasantly surprised. I liked it.
Hey, let me go a little bit into the history of this because I consider myself a bit of a Dash and Lily expert, having been a big fan of the novel, which is written by Rachel Kahn and David Levithan. I have my copy right here from high school. It's all beat up because I used to read a lot and I used to lend it out a lot in high school. So what is Dash and Lily? Dash and Lily is a new Netflix original series that follows two Manhattan teenagers as they anonymously exchange messages and challenges with each other via a notebook. So this is a love story. This is a young adult love story in Manhattan, in New York. And these kids don't know each other. They don't know each other physically. They meet through a mysterious notebook left in the Strand, which is a bookstore right between a copy of Franny and Zooey and The Catcher in the Rye, which are both books by J.D. Salinger. So I want to talk to you a little bit about the history of the making of this show before we talk about the actual show itself, because I think it's very interesting. So Rachel Kahn and David Levithan, they're both really popular young adult writers, and they have a very weird dynamic where they both written separate books and they've been, successes on its own. But every couple of years they come together and they write a book together. And it's always boy name, girl name, something. And it's David Levithan writes one chapter and then he will email that chapter to Rachel Kahn, who will after reading it, write the next chapter and then back and forth. And they will do that until they have a finished book. And they've done that with the first book was called Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, which was turned into a movie starring Michael Cera and Kat Dennings, which was excellent. And then they made another book called Naomi and Eli's No Kiss List, which was also turned into a movie with Victoria Justice, but that movie kind of sucks, which is not the movie's fault. The book is also not very good. But then they released this third book called Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. And this is the first, and usually when I read one of their books together, it ends and I go, well, that was cool. That was cute. It ended. But then when I read this one, I was like, man, I love this one. This is my favorite one they've written. I wish they would do something more with them. They're probably not going to. And then they did. They did a second book called The 12 Days of Dash and Lily, which is a sequel that happens a full year after the first one. Now, we're going to get to this because it's going to be important when we talk about the ending of the Dash and Lily show. But yeah, something interesting is that when this book came out, the film rights for this were owned by a certain someone who is now very famous. Can you guess who it is?
Bradley Cooper.
No.
I was just taking a shot in the dark.
So actually, it was Lena Dunham, who is the writer actress who, when she was 22 years old, sold the show Girls to HBO. She hadn't made that show yet.
Oh.
But yeah, so she owned the film rights to Dash and Lily after she had made a little indie film called Tiny Furniture. She got the film rights and then she just kept them for all these years. She never did anything with them. And I think the rights kind of like
ended back.
Yeah, they were rooted back, and then they were bought by Mr. Joe Trex, who I know and I love because he wrote the musical and the book, the book for the musical of the Percy Jackson Broadway show. So this has all been passed by very talented hands. So the fact that we finally get here and we got Sean Levy, who's the producer for Stranger Things. He picked up this, and then for some strange reason, Nick Jonas is producing this show.
I was gonna say, man, that really threw me the fuck off. But then I saw that he was the producer, and then I was like, okay, I guess.
Hell yeah.
I guess.
So a ton of people have had this a little book that I read in high school a ton of times through their hands. So what does this mean? Does that translate? We get the show and we get this cast. The main two kids. Dash is played by Austin Abrams, who was one of the friends in the movie Paper Towns. That's how I know him. He was very good in that. And then Lily is played by a new actress called Midori Francis, who I haven't seen in anything else, but I really like seeing her in this. And I think both of them really capture how the characters are in the book. I think both of them are good. But yeah, there's a huge history behind this book. I mean, look through all the hands that I went through, and now we get it in a Netflix form. And when I saw it announced, I thought, okay, that's cool, a movie. And then no, it's a show. It's 7 or 8 episodes, and it's perfect because it manages to not cut out any corners or leave out anything out from the book.
What's called? So you've obviously read the book. You know more about this film series than I do, by far and large. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like the reason why they were able to so accurately portray them is because they had so much to go off of? You know, they had a second book. I'm sure they probably spoke to the author and they were like, "Hey, what the fuck do we do?"
So something interesting. Rachel Kahn, who's one of the writers of the book, she wrote the scripts to a couple of the episodes, so they're involved. David Levitan also involved, and actually the two of them cameo in the Nick and Nora Infinite Playlist movie. They're in one of the diner scenes, so they're obviously involved, and I think that's pretty cool. Honestly, I think the reason why the show works and why they had a lot of liberty in doing it, I think it's Netflix. I think Netflix loves giving like a bunch of money to people and just being like, yeah, do it and do it well, you know.
Look, just don't fuck it up and you'll be fine.
Yeah, and Netflix has produced both good and bad, but I think I will land this in the good. It's interesting. I would definitely agree with that. So every year, you know how there's every year there's always like one a limited series, like a limited run series. This year to me was like The Queen's Gambit, or last year was Chernobyl. There's a limited series that always like captures like, oh shit, this is serious, but this is really good. This is a great drama. Mm-hmm. I feel like every year there's also like a great feel-good series that you get really like invested in, and I feel like this was one of those. Totally. Whereas like this is perfect schlock, cheesy Christmas time stuff, but none of the crappiness of a Hallmark movie. There's a lot of heart in this, and does not go in the direction I was expecting at all. Mm-hmm. Totally.
Which I really appreciate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So first of all, let's start with the setup and the aesthetic of the show. I mean, so the plot is basically this boy Dash. His parents are divorced, and he's kind of a pretentious 17-year-old. Exactly how 17-year-olds are at that age, especially one that's reading Salinger. Okay, and
also he has mommy and daddy's money, so I mean, can you really blame him?
Absolutely. I would do the exact same thing. So he spends his time in this bookstore in New York, and he told both of his parents that he's spending Christmas with the other so he could spend it by himself. And he's walking around this bookstore and he finds this red Moleskine notebook with challenges saying that, do this and, something interesting might happen. So because he's bored and mostly because he finds them compelling, he starts to follow them. He starts to find out this scripted message, and which leads him to a series of challenges. And the cool thing is that the whole first episode is just focused on Dash and him finding the notebook and following everything. And then the second episode is followed on Lily, on how she makes the notebook, how she lives it there, and how we basically see the whole first episode from her perspective, which I thought was pretty cool. And yeah, the whole charm of the show works because of the setup, which is that, I mean, both kids, mysterious, they don't know each other, they're meeting each other for the first time, and both actors are good. The Dash actor manages to capture this very brooding, very
Bruce Wayne douchebaggery.
Yeah, very pretentious 17-year-old energy, which is great. It manages to work very well. And then on the other side, you have this girl, Midori Francis, who plays Lily, who's this absolutely wholesome, very, very, very cute girl who loves Christmas. She fucking loves Christmas. And you can see it in her outfit. You can see it how she spends her time caroling or spending time, or she wants to spend the whole time with her family and doing things, baking. She loves this. She loves this thing. So these two are polar opposites, and usually we would love seeing them, kind of engaging. Here we do see that, but from a distance, and I think that's what makes it that's what makes it apart from any other how you would call them, the Hallmark movies.
Well, see, I thought it was an interesting concept, to find a book that challenges you,
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't even know at that point, if a guy was going to find it a girl, an old person, young person, whatnot. Yeah. It was literally just like, fuck it, let's have some fun. Mm-hmm. But actually, Dash, from the beginning, I liked Dash way more than I liked Lily. I kind of understood Dash a bit, and not to be an asshole when I say this, I kind of, when he's like, all I want is a nice, quiet, lonely, like Christmas by myself, I'm like, you know what, bro, I kind of get it. I kind of fucking get it. Some quietness, some nice and peace, that's all you want in this world. I understand. Lily, on the other hand, I had a bit of a harder time getting behind. And that's not to say, she loves Christmas too much. No, but it was hard for me to relate to her character up until the point where we meet the douchebag. What's his name?
Edgar Thibud, yeah.
Fucking Edgar. At that point is when I began to cheer for her. No, and I realized it's because she had an antagonist. She had a bully she was dealing with. It was kind of like, this is bullshit. This guy's just being mean for no fucking reason. All these kids treated her bad. What the hell's wrong with them? Like, they were great at making her a sympathetic character that you gave a shit and you cared about, which, again, not gonna lie to you, she wasn't even my number 2 character in this show until I found out, the bully. Oh, fuck that guy. She deserves better than that.
So he elevated her, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. Like, it elevated me to giving a shit about her. And then, I don't know, I felt like her character needed more building. Whereas Dash, on the other hand, it was like, okay, I kind of understand him from the get-go.
Yeah, totally. Speaking of side characters, we have a very colorful side cast in the whole movie from both sides, from both Dash and Lily. Lily, of course, accompanied by her brother Langston and his partner also. The brother is usually there for moral support to help her a little bit get out of her shell. Of course, we have the grandpa, we have her group friends of carolers, and of course the bully, which are the main characters from her side. From Dash's side, we have his best friend Boomer, who was the breakout character in the novel. He was so funny in the novel. He's good in the show, but he's way funnier in the novel. I think because I'll say it directly, he was a little dumber in the book. I mean, he would do and say things that were very like, oh my God, you fucking really just said that. And in the movie, they make him a little bit more, he's still very, very optimistic. He basically is there to be the opposite to Dash's straight man. But yeah, he's there. He's fun. The actor who plays him has this really like wide smile that just infectious. I thought he was really entertaining. Of course, we have Dash's dad who pops up, and the main character that keeps going around him is his ex-girlfriend Sophia, who keeps popping up in conversation until she eventually pops up in the show. Which I think that's the moment that starts dividing everyone that watches the show. when she and Edgar pop up, like from both sides.
But why though? Like, what's the divide? Like, seemingly, I've only heard good things about it, but I haven't heard anyone that's actually had like a really strong, like, positive or negative opinion for that matter.
Mm-hmm. On what exactly?
On her, with Sophia. It's
yeah.
when Sophia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when she comes around, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I was like, this bitch, no. Because, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I didn't like her, but I mean, it didn't fucking break the show for me.
Yeah. No, I think mostly people have problems with like what Dash does with her than with her exactly, because she stays pretty much the same like she is in the book. I mean, she's the ex-girlfriend, but you don't really hate her. She didn't really do anything bad. She just, she didn't do anything
to earn a wrath.
Yeah, I mean, she has her own thing, which Dash acknowledges. Like, you talk for me, you don't let me like be myself, and they realize very early, like, hey, we're not meant to be together, and they're kind of trying to work through it. Which I think it's a very interesting dynamic. You don't see that kind of dynamic between exes in a lot of media.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty interesting, and she delivers both in the book and in the show. She delivers one of the best lines, which is that there's this moment in the last. I think it's the last episode where she goes in the book and in the show. Dash gathers all of his friends, and he's trying to talk to them about what he's going to do about Lily and stuff. And she Sophia, who's reminder, she's this guy's ex-girlfriend. She tells him directly, because he says, I don't want to fetishize it. I don't want to call it, what am I chasing? It's not, I'm not supposed to chase something that's like a fairy tale. And then she goes, you think fairy tales are only for girls? Here's a hint. Ask yourself who wrote them. I assure you, it wasn't just women. It's the great male fantasy. All it takes is one dance to know that she's the one. All it takes is the sound of her song from her tower or a look from her sleeping face. And right away, this is the girl in your head, sleeping or dancing or singing in front of you. Yes, girls want the princess, but boys want their princesses just as much as they want their very long courtships. They want to know immediately. And that's one of the best lines in the book. And the show kind of condenses it a little, but it's there. Sadly, the show decides to interrupt that great line by having a very cheap, I'll say it's cheap. That fucking Nick Jonas cameo was weird as shit. And but yeah, I think the dynamic between Sophia and Dash is pretty good, and I think it's good that they preserve that from the book.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. Sophia, I wanted to despise her, but I guess that would have been too easy to make her like this.
It
bitchy,
would be
like,
too easy.
Yeah, and I like how they challenge us like that. It would have been easier to be like, do you know who the fuck I am? Like, I literally speak 6 languages. Yeah. My father is an actual billionaire, and I'm gonna go to school and I'm gonna rule the world. Like, who are you? Yeah. It would have been so easy for her to just flex like that. But instead, no, her character flaw is a relatively minor thing that we can all understand. Hey, yeah. Her characteristic, like, has a very strong personality. She spoke for Dash. She's very, I guess, A personality,
Yeah. Type A.
Yeah, type A, which, again, I respect them for not making us hate her guts completely. It made this a little more, not confusing, but, like, competitive? I guess it challenged the audience more. Now,
which is why it baffles me to no end that the let's call them, the pursuer from each side, because both of them have one. The pursuer from Lilith's side, the Edgar Thibaud, he's not a douche in the book, and they made him a douche in the show.
So why? Okay. So what is he in the book then?
He is. He's a little similar. He was also a bully to Lilith growing up, but he wasn't that much of a douche. He presented himself to Lily, and he was a player. He was a very flirty to a lot of people, but it's not really. I mean, if he's single and he's hitting on single people, there's really nothing wrong with what he's doing. And in the show, they made him a little bit more asshole-ish and a little bit more careless. And I think that's a wasted opportunity because even in the show, in the book and in the show, they acknowledge that him and Dash know each other already. In the book, him and Dash were friends, not close friends, but they were, they acknowledged each other. They were friends. They if they were in the same group, they never hung out together, but they were in the same friend group at some point. Okay.
Yeah.
So even there reaches a point near the end of the novel where Dash is talking about how, you know what, let go of this anger that you feel towards your parents for breaking up. Let go of what you feel of your dad for not being like a strong father figure. Let go of what you feel about Sophia. Let go of even the anger that you feel towards Edgar. Hell, even like catch up with him. Go watch a movie with him at some point. So he's cool with that. They even get to a point where in the show there's an episode where Lily gets drunk. And she gets drunk with the Caroline group, and she ends up kissing Edgar. And that's exactly when she meets Dash. In the book, the scene is kind of similar. She goes to this party and she bumps into Edgar there, and she's drunk, and he's kind of just talking with her. He's not trying to hit on her. He's just kind of being there. He doesn't take advantage of her. They don't even kiss in the book. But she is like, you know what? Fuck it. Like I should kiss someone. I haven't kissed someone ever. And she tries to kiss him, and just right before she tries to, Dash sees them, and he goes like, "Is that our notebook in your hands?" And she kind of like turns and goes like, "That's you," and just like faints because she's drunk.
Oh fuck!
And immediately the next scene is Dash and Edgar kind of carrying her together and being like, "Oh, so you two know each other." And it's not mean. It's like a polite, or like, oh, what a coincidence. We all knew each other, And and the scene follows through as normal. But like I said, they make him more of an asshole here, and he's not an asshole in the book,
Yeah, so I was gonna ask. So in the book, would you say they do a significantly better job of like getting them to balance each other out, and like no one's the douchebag, no one's really the villain. They're just a bunch of people going through a situation.
Exactly, they do. Because, for example, the scene where Dash and Sophia sleep together, that does happen in the book, but there's it's more quiet. Like, it ends with the two of them, like one chapter ends with the two of them talking, then there's a Lily chapter, and then the next chapter starts with the two of them waking up. They don't even say if they had sex. They don't even say if they kiss, They just kind of wake up, they kind of put their jackets back on and, say goodbye. And I don't know. I always liked that. It felt more quiet. It felt more like between them. And yes, they do balance each other out. I feel a lot of the final conflict of Lily moving away, that's not in the book. After Lily gets drunk and they end up meeting in the show, they have this huge fight in this taxi where they just don't want to see each other. They don't want to talk to each other because they already met at a party beforehand, and they just don't want like anything to do with each other. And in the book, it's more quiet. Like they see each other. He sees her drunk, so she thinks that he doesn't want to talk to her anymore. And then she has this job where she walks dogs, and then she's walking like a bunch of dogs, and they bump into each other like right there. And then he just starts walking the dog with her, and they start talking, and then they get chased and stopped by the cops, and then they are brought into like this police station, and they have, oh my god, it becomes crazy. And that would have been so funny to see in the show, but decided to just cut that out and make this super dramatic. That was very Hallmark. That whole, oh, I'm moving away, oh, I'm running from the taxi in the middle of traffic, oh, we're bumping into the Strand, like that. The ending frustrates me because the ending of the book was perfect and low key. It was low key, and they made him really they wanted to make it really epic for the show, and it just ended up being too cheesy for my taste.
Do you think maybe they felt like they had to because it's like, look, this is too quiet of an ending. We need to or maybe they were running out of money.
Probably, but I don't know. It would have been so cool to see that scene where they had to go to they have to go to the police station. They're being chased. They're questioned by two cops, Officer White and Officer Black. And Officer White is black, and Officer Black is white. It's funny, and they had, and I don't know. There were just so many cool scenes there, and like I said, it feels like wasted potential. The ending. The ending feels like wasted because for like the first 3/4 of the show, it's exactly like the book. And then the ending just decides to, let that go and introduce like a bunch of random things that don't happen. And of course, adaptations need to be different. They have to. But I don't know. The ending of the book was good already. I feel like if it's not broke, why fix it?
What's called? Do you think? I hope they do. I expect. Do you think they have an intentions of doing a sequel?
Yes.
Doing the follow-up book?
And I have two very good reasons of why they're going to. First, the show is called Dash and Lily. The book is called Dash and Lily's Book of Dares. They intentionally left out the Book of Dares part so they can, later add a season 2 and based it on the second book, which is called The 12 Days of Dash and Lily. Okay. Second, one of the main plot points of the second novel is pointed out immediately at the end of the first season of the show, which spoilers, but at the end, Boomer and Sophia are seen coming out of the movie theater, and they start to hold hands and they're walking together. That's not like, oh, cute, we pair these two up. No, that becomes a big plot point in the second book. So the second book is a little bit darker. Okay. Second book starts with Lily's grandpa getting a heart attack. He's hospitalized. And this happens in the 12 days right before Christmas. So Christmas is ruined for Lily. Lily's super depressed.
Wait, is he dead?
No.
Oh, then Christmas isn't ruined.
No, but he's super sick and he's old. So he might die. And this is around Christmas. And our girl Lily fucking loves Christmas. Okay. So she's sad. She's depressed. And so Dash takes it up on his hand to make the 12 days before Christmas to be the best days for her. So he starts to make all these plans and they all kind of start going wrong and he just feels super guilty and he starts to work with her. Christmas miracle, everything goes right at the end. But through the novel, one of the big plot points is Dash doesn't have the constant support of his best buddy Boomer because he's dating his ex-girlfriend Sophia, and it's weird. It's weird. Okay. I don't know if you've ever dated someone and then and then you break up and then they start dating someone that you thought was your friend. It happened to me once and it wasn't cool. But it's you live and you learn. And I don't want to make this about me, but fuck you wherever you are. And,
I'm sorry. I don't know what that's like. I'm undefeated. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sorry. You are 1-0. You pretentious fucker. Okay.
I love you. Wait, so in the sequel book, Boomer and Dash are having issues?
They're having issues because they're best friends, but he's dating his ex, and even though he's cool with both of them separately, and to a point he's cool with it while they're together. That's also a very interesting dynamic because he doesn't hate that they're together, but he just doesn't want to see it, which I think is super fair.
I mean, how long did him and Sophia date?
I think more than a year, maybe less.
Oh shit! Okay, yeah.
Consider
I was gonna
this.
Say, it was like a month. It was like a month. That's one thing, but like
it wasn't a month.
They were together for a while. Ugh.
Yeah, but also it's they're young. They're also teenagers, so this hurts even more. Like they're not mature adults like I am, who are totally over it and stuff.
Of course you are. Clearly you're fine.
Yeah. So that becomes a big plot point, and I think that's also why they kept the show as just Dash and Lily, because Dash and Lily's Book of Dares is a great title. That pretty much tells you everything you gotta know. That makes you question everything. I think that's why they kept it open. So I think there's definitely going to be a season 2 that's going to explore what happens next. And who knows? I mean, what's it called? There's been several book to Netflix show adaptations that don't have sequels, and they've made second seasons. 13 Reasons Why has 3-4 seasons, and there's only one book.
4 seasons. There's one goddamn book. How many times can you die?
And I've read the book. Like, it ends where the first season ends. So I don't know, dude. Like it's a super weird thing there. So I don't know if Netflix can pump us out with 10 seasons of this show. I don't think they will. I think they will just stick to like the second one and that's it. But I think it's a good idea. I think if anything, they'll just give us another thing to give us on the next Christmas season, so we can get pumped on that. Speaking of Christmas season, I have to talk about something else. Unless you want to add something else regarding plot, characters, all that.
No. So I was gonna say, is it just me, or did you kind of notice that each character in here kind of hits like a singular note? I feel like someone that is each character. I know a Dash. I know a Lily. I know a Boomer. I know a Sophia. Their friends group and whatnot. I know an Edgar.
Totally.
I felt like they did an amazing job when it came to making all these characters feel relatable to your life.
Totally.
Which is something which is not easy. I think we take that for granted when a show or anything is really able to make you go, that reminds me of insert person.
Totally.
All right, so that just kind of impressed me a bit. Also, I'll give Netflix two things real quick, and maybe like these things are so like shouldn't be like hey because maybe they're not big deals, but seemingly I'm like what, let's still give them the clap. One was Lily, a 17-year-old girl, Lily, went to a drag bar, which
the punk rock show.
Yeah, which I'm like, what? Fuck it. Like, I'm glad they did it. Like, I know it's an unconventional thing, but I'm glad they did. Representation is important, and I don't remember the last time I ever saw a drag bar ever used in a movie or a TV show. So, fucking props to them.
Can I give you? Can I break your glass ceiling a little bit?
Yes.
I've seen a lot of comments saying like, "Oh, this show has too much LGBT representation." Let me tell you a secret. Let me tell you a secret. The book is exactly the same. So you cannot blame Gen Z. You cannot blame Netflix. You cannot blame. They're forcing on us. The book is exactly the same.
Yeah, fuck those people.
Yeah, exactly.
Easy. Fuck those people.
Yeah. I think if anything, leaving out the LGBT, the extremely high LGBT representation would have been a disservice to the story. New York is a famously very liberal place. So yeah, I am glad that those kind of representations are there. If anything, because they're in the book as well, and also because they represent the surroundings where they're living. So yeah, that's very important. Yeah.
What's called another thing was the fact that Lily was drinking and she's 17, which you never fucking see. You never fucking see that in movies. Not unless it's like they're gonna get their comeuppance. Like you never see such a good person, like a good girl, drinking and whatnot. Like I was like, I wonder if people are gonna be okay with this part. Which I haven't heard any uproar, so I guess they are. 17-year-old girl drinking a peppermint schnapps.
It tastes like Christmas.
Yeah. But no, and I'm glad that she got drunk with her friends. She was venting, this fucking boy, this and this. I'm glad all of this happened.
Yeah. If anything, the whole point of this story is for these two. They're kind of polar opposites, but they both need to learn from each other. Lily has to be a little bit more open and get out of her shell. And so is Dash. Dash is but both in different ways. Dash needs to be more open to, things being okay. And Lily has to be open to, putting herself a little bit in danger every once in a while.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You just remind me of something. There's one other scene. There's one scene that made me go, fuck you. It's when they're at the comedy club and she's confronting Edgar and she's like, you did this. And some bitch in the audience has the balls to say, maybe he liked you. Fuck you. No more of this bullshit or he pulls on your pigtails. He must have a crush on you. Eat a dick, lady. Yeah.
And she says that.
Yeah, fuck you. Eat a dick. Learn to communicate your emotions like a human being, you piece of shit. Being a boy does not excuse you from being an asshole. Like I loved it. I loved all of it. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna make sure my daughters know if some boy ever picks on you, you better send him to the nurse. I want a broken nose, broken finger, something. Give me something to work with. If you get suspended, you're getting ice cream. They don't suspend you for scrapes. They suspend you for broken bones. Go get him, kiddo.
Oh God. Okay. Well, I'm glad to know that if I ever have kids, your kids have my kids back. Okay.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Yeah. So, like I said, there's that. I wanted to point out like small little details that I noticed in the show that I really liked and that I feel like are not being points of conversation enough. First of all, the whole soundtrack is Christmas songs, like all of it. Like they don't use a random song for like a specific moment. No, they're all Christmas songs from the start to the end. Every episode is just Christmas songs. And they're from very different genres. Like they can vary from rock to pop to Broadway to rap even. Like, but they're all Christmas songs. I thought that was so cool. It's kind of like what they did when they adapted Looking for Alaska into that Hulu TV show, where every episode would end with a super sad cover of a song that was popular at that time. I thought it was similar. I think I really like what they did with the soundtrack there. And I like how they made the whole city just feel like it's throwing up Christmas. I mean, I think it's probably because I'm pairing this with I'm at the same time playing the new Spider-Man game, Spider-Man Miles Morales, but also they're doing that thing where like the whole map is New York City and it's all in Christmas mode all the time. So that's also pretty cool. So yeah, I like how they're pairing it up with that, the score, the soundtrack. There's an ongoing joke in the book about this fake Pixar movie called Collation.
Yes.
About office appliances that are talking. And I thought there's no way they're going to add that in the show. And they did. And it was beautiful. The fact that they just kept bringing it up and putting posters in the background. And then they put a scene where they're watching the movie. God, that was so funny. And the fact that they were so ballsy to be like, oh yeah, Pixar's making this movie. That was so cool. Because that's a joke that they make in the show. I mean, in the book. And they even have that as part of the dares. Like there's one part where like Dash is instructed to pick up the journal in the movie theater, and he goes with Boomer. And when he finds the journal is it right next to it is like a little tin can of Christmas cookies that Lily made, and he challenged her. She challenges him to watch the movie. And eat and enjoy the cookies like on the side. And so there's a very nice scene where like it's him and Boomer, they're watching the movie and they're eating the cookies. So the fact that they also included that in the show was really funny. That I wanted to
I was gonna ask, in this film, did they do you know that they have any licensing issues as far as like because you know how in books you can kind of take a lot of liberties with who you include or what you mention or whatever.
Yeah.
Were there any issues? Did you notice anything that they did have to absolutely cut because there's no way it would have made it?
Other than the chasing and putting them and like locking them up with the cops, there's really nothing like licensing that they had to cut out. A lot of the scenes are there. Yeah, because a lot of the big scenes are there. The punk rock show, the party, Boomer's pizza place, the Strand, the whole scene where he has to go and sit on Santa's lap, that's in the book. The whole story with the aunt, that's also in the book. Like a lot of these is in they didn't add anything they didn't add any new characters or anything. Like everything is there from the very start. So yeah, there's not really like a licensing that was lost. They can't really have any issues with mentioning Pixar because they're technically parodying it because the movie's not real. So they're safe. They can do that.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'm cool with that then.
Yeah.
Was the grandfather such a douche in the book as he was in the movie?
He's pretty much the same. Yeah.
Because I wanted to slap him so many times. Like,
you want to slap an elderly man?
Yeah, when he's that pretentious of an asshole. Yeah. Fucking.
Okay, we just did the trial of the Chicago 7 episode where you also wanted to slap the old man who was the judge. So you're 2 for 2 over here, man. You wanna you are you an ageist? Like what's happening here?
Thanksgiving's gonna be real fucking interesting this year, ain't it, Grandpa? Ain't it, Wilito? No, fucking like they present themselves as such like great, not villains, just like not your life, like not your like. Okay, in this one, the grandfather, the fact that he has the balls to like tell Lily, you've disappointed me a lot in these past few weeks. If you apologize, I may consider allowing you to stay. Old man, I'm gonna be 18 in like less than 2 years and or less, and then you have no control. Blow me. Like,
don't say that.
No, okay, fine. I'll bleep that part. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah,
just like the testicular fortitude to talk that kind of shit is if you're gonna say that, you better have something to back this up. He was just such an unlikable person.
Yeah. But then we get to meet. Okay, we haven't even talked about this character, but let's talk about the aunt.
Oh, she's awesome.
She's awesome, right? And she was also like that in the book. There's a really cool scene where when Dash goes to give the boot back, and he gives it to her, and they're talking and they're having tea and stuff, and he doesn't know, but she's kind of testing him, to see how he is and everything. And I think one of my favorite lines there is the scene where like she's just questioning him, like, and he's getting it, and there's a moment where she just asks him, what do you do every time you get out of the bus? And he goes, I thank the driver. And that's when she goes like, okay, he's cool. that's her litmus test. Like she goes into like this whole like tirade there, and she's pretty much like very similar to how she is in the book. But yeah, those scenes work because they work, and they work because they work in the book, and they also work in the show. I feel like they made Dash a little bit douchier than he was in the book, and I don't blame them. I mean, they need to add a little bit more meat, but the whole thing in the book is that he's pretentious, and they got that in the show, but they make him a little bit of a douche, I'll be honest, and it doesn't really help on those scenes when he and Lily are fighting. Same with Lily. They make him a little bit. They make her a little bit like more close-minded than she should be, and everything gets resolved. And of course, everything's fine by the end. But I don't know. I like that the book was not very conflict heavy. It was it was more chill. It was more relaxed. It was very sweet. And then I don't know. They added a lot of unnecessary conflict in the book in the show.
Why do you feel though like it was unnecessary?
Yeah, it's just you can make people forget that you can make cute shows and cute movies where there's not a lot of conflict. You just see these characters just vibing together, and I thought that, and I think that's really the charm of the book. That's why I returned to it so much, because I could come back on any chapter and there were some conflicts. But they weren't that cosmic. They weren't that. They didn't end up affecting that much as they did in the book. So yeah, there's something else that I need to talk about. I feel like not enough people are talking about Dash and Lily in the internet, so I believe there's a possibility that people involved might listen or watch this. So I need to talk. I'm speaking to them directly right now. I noticed what you did. Thank you. It was really cool. I'll give the context. The other books that Rachel Kahn and David Levithan wrote together, Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist and Naomi Neela's No Kiss List, they all take place in the same New York. And I know and characters from each book don't pop out in the other books. They don't. But there's one scene, the one location that unites all of these books, the punk rock club. Okay? That punk rock club appears in all 3 books.
Really?
And yeah, in the first book, in Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, there's a scene where Nick and Nora are having this conversation where they're not really talking to each other, but they're writing things in this bathroom stall. in this punk rock show. And I don't remember what Nick writes, but he writes like something because she makes fun of him for listening to The Cure a lot. And he writes something about The Cure. And then she comes back in and she writes this line that says, "The Cure for the brokenhearted. I'm so sorry, Nick. I hope you kiss me again." And she just leaves it there. And then in Naomi and Eli's No Kiss, there's a scene where Naomi goes into the same punk rock club. She sees that line written there, and she goes, "Oh, okay." Like she kind of just reads that, and she's just reading random things that people have written there. And then in Dash and Lily's Book of Theirs, Lily goes into the punk rock club to find the journal, and she sees that line written there that says, "The Cure for the brokenhearted. I'm sorry, Nick. I hope you kiss me again." And she goes, "Oh, I hope Nick does kiss her again."
Aww.
Yeah. And then, so that is a pretty cool line, and it's there, and it exists in all their books, and that's it. That's all it does. It pretty much sets you that this all takes place in the same New York. When they made Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, the movie, just like in the book, it's the two of them in one night only, and it's just them meeting each other, and they're just running around New York trying to find the secret show played by this fictitious band called Where's Fluffy. And the way that they find the band is because they find the logo of the band, which is three bunnies like running together with question marks around them, and that's giving like locations of where the secret show is going to be. And the whole night is just them following them around. And that logo appears it appears in the movie posters. It appears during the entire movie. It is what's in the sticker for the DVD and Blu-ray. That logo becomes synonymous with the film. And when I'm watching Dash and Lily the show, and I see Lily going to the punk rock club, I'm kind of hoping, but I kind of know deep down, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. And then Lily goes into the restroom in the punk rock club, and that's where she finds Dash's message that says, like, "Lily, get back out there." Right underneath where it says, "Lily, get back out there," there's the logo of Where's Fluffy. It's right there. It's there for a second. It's a blink and you'll miss it moment. I don't know who thought about adding that, but I see you. Thank you. That was great. I noticed. I don't know who else noticed, but I noticed. So thank you. You did right. I love that because I love that movie. You did good, kid. That'll do, pig. That'll do. It's such a super small detail that really shouldn't matter. It really didn't need to be there. But whoever took that time to do that, thank you, because I appreciate it a lot. It's such a niche little thing, but the fact that somebody took the time to do that and unite, this movie that was very, very important to my teenage years, and I love the book, but I like the movie even more. It was so special to me as a teenager that the fact that still lives on and people are still thinking about it and talking about it. And I know that it's because it's the same writers, but I don't know. It makes me believe that, that's the same punk rock club where Michael Cera and Kat Dennings were hanging out, looking for Fluffy just around 13, 14 years ago. So
Jeez, is that movie that old?
Yeah, it's from like 2008, probably before that. And yeah, so whoever did that, whoever added that little detail, whoever just added that little, Where's Fluffy logo, we saw it. Thank you. You did good.
See, that's the love. That's where the love comes.
Yeah.
So overall, what are your final thoughts on this, somewhat limited, series? By the way, real quick, I love how the episodes were like 20 to 30 minutes. They didn't kill me, and I appreciated that.
You can binge this in a day.
Oh, we did. We fucking did. We did it in an afternoon.
Yeah. What do I think? I think I will say the same thing that I said for Hubie Halloween around October. If you're ready to get into the Christmas spirit, this is a pretty new way to do it. I mean, if you work retail, I'm sorry, you're probably already listening to All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey. I mean, Eddie, you work retail for a long time. You probably know how that is. And I mean, if you don't want that and you want like a new experience, I highly recommend Dash and Lily on Netflix. It's only 8 episodes. The episodes are 20 to 30 minutes. They're cute. They're short. The last 4 are directed by Fred Savage, who was the little kid in The Princess Bride. So I don't know how that really adds to anything, but I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, final thoughts. They're cool. I mean, it's a cool little show. You can watch it, like I said, in a day. If you want to just curl up, enjoy the cold, and just watch something that's gonna slap you in the face with Christmas, and you don't mind a very strange Jonas Brothers cameo, this might be the show for you. I give it an 8.2 out of 10.
Not bad.
Yeah, I'm generous.
Shit, honestly, I'd watch the show again. Probably not for a year, but maybe next year I'll rewatch it and binge watch it right before catch up with season 2 if they do season 2. Honestly, I liked it. It was cute. It was harmless. It was funny at some points, anger-inducing at others. But no, overall, I liked it. I'd give this one a solid B. Solid B, B-.
Solid B. Also, it's pretty much the only one of the few shows that I've seen acknowledge. I like all the book references that they did. I just thought that those were pretty cool, especially since they referenced Murakami, who I've been obsessed with during this entire year. So that was pretty cool. If you're listening to us on YouTube, you can follow us on any of our links down below.
If you're listening to us via podcast, please like and subscribe. We greatly appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to hear more about our thoughts on movies, go to therollback.net. I've been Chema.
I've been Eddie.
And this was The Rollback.